What is up, guys? Wraec here with a new video, and today once again we're talking about Lifestar. Last time a lot of you guys mentioned, well, we can't really use it, and well, of course you're right. There is one aspect, however, that is worth talking about, and that even a lot of people that might not have yet unlocked the Destiny Star 6 hero are worried about, are thinking about, so I want to give you my take on that. And of course we are talking about the Void campaign drops, because the Void campaign actually starts dropping the materials that you can get, the materials for these skills, those rather early on. I think it's around Island 4. So even though you might just not have a Destiny rank 6, or you're pretty likely to not have a Destiny rank 6 hero at that point, you are confronted with those resources and are, well, basically forced to make a decision, because if we go in there, you can only select one. So if I wanted to go for something else, I first have to take my marker from the fish, and that's it. So you really want to know which resource you want to get, then you kind of have to make your decision on the skill that you want to go for rather early on, maybe months or even longer in advance. So this decision better be right. And to give you a good chance at taking the right decision, we're going to talk a little bit about the skills. I basically plan to give you a short summary of what these skills do, and then we'll go over, I will just state you guys my opinion on which one you should take and give you very clear advice on this. So starting off, we have the first one that a lot of people saw. It's the tentacle one. It is the Deep Pupil's Darkness. Many people had a look at this one because it grants 30 million fixed attack. If you have no idea, basically every skill consists of the Lifestar details, which are skills, you can say. And then you have the Destiny Star part. Those are fixed stats. So you get fixed attack, you get fixed HP, all scales with your awakening. So pretty huge stats that you can get from that. And they are different between the paths that you can take. So this is Deep Pupil's Darkness. We got the 30 million and 4.3 billion fixed HP. And in comparison, if we go for Nova Holy Flame, it's only 24 million, but 5.1 billion fixed HP, so it's more HP, which makes sense. We'll go over that later. And there we have like the balance thing on the charm skill, which is 27 million and 4.7 billion fixed HP. So the most attack is in Deep Pupil's Darkness, the most HP in Nova Holy Flame, and the balance one is Charm Seeking Knowledge. So that is what you want to know about this. Does that really play a role for the skill that we take? To be honest, not really. It is of course an influence, because the difference between 24 million fixed attack and 30 million fixed attack, well, you will notice that. But there are some skills in those Lifestars that are powerful enough to accept a little bit less attack and go for the more meaningful skill instead. So where are those skills is the question. What does Deep Pupil's Darkness give you? Well, Deep Pupil's Darkness plays around dodge. And to be honest, the first time I heard that it's about dodge, I thought, well, this thing's going to be bugged, because dodge is notorious in this game for being bugged. We have the PDE Destiny rank 6 skill that is now broken for basically months and didn't get fixed. And I have the feeling, I have to say, that DH doesn't know how to fix dodge skills. So we have a few dodge skills that work. Of course, passive ranger dodge works. We have the MFF dodge that does work. So it is a little bit like the MFF dodge. Every time basically the hero that has this does an action, basic attack, active skill, whatever, he will put an effect called Gloomy Stars on the enemy with the highest attack, which lasts for 1 round, which is a problem in itself. And this will increase the probability of the target's active skills and normal attacks being evaded by 50%. Don't worry, we won't read out the rest of the skills in that length, but this is like the main one. This is the main thing you're going for. Everything else plays into that. Main disadvantage of this thing is for 1 round means that it's only for the round it's been is applied on. So if your hero that you have here is slower than the enemy, then this is meaningless. So let's say the enemy has like, for example, like my damage dealer, SS Patricia. And this Patricia is super fast, attacks faster than your hero with Deep Pupil's Darkness equipped on. Then none of her damage will actually miss. So then this is meaningless. So you have to have that on a very fast hero. In my opinion, the hero that I thought of that could use this would be like a PDE, a super fast PDE like my SSS PDE that just hits very, very early in the fight. and then provides all of those dodge options, which are pretty nice, because PDE, of course, dodge to the back row. Then we have a dodge destiny skill still bugged, as I said, and then with this a little bit more dodge even should be quite the monster. But however, I personally can't really see that on the damage dealer, because those are all support options. We have mostly support options in here. This is like keep your heroes alive, control immunity, which is all great, all good. But none of this actually grants you damage. So in my opinion, this having the highest fixed attack is pretty much worthless, because you get no damage from the actual skills. So for that, if your main goal is damage, then this is not the skill for you. This is the skill for a supporter. This is the skill for fast supporter in your team. Maybe also fast damage dealer, if that is like your second fastest hero or your fastest hero, but not your main damage dealer. For example, I at the moment have Alikita as a secondary damage dealer in my team. I could put that on her as well. That would work out. You would just want to have that on a very fast hero. So that being set in mind, there was the second, that was the most popular one. I think most people looked at this one and thought, well, this is great because this is straight up damage. Nova Holy Flame is the straight up damage option. It has a very low attack pool, 24 million, high HP pool, but the high HP on this one is actually quite nice, because this is HP burn. That is the thing that like enemy Valkyrs do to you in a way. So basically this inflicts a burn effect based on your own HP. So the higher the HP of the hero using the skill, the better. So ideally, to make the most of this, you want to have this on a hero with a very high HP pool. Of course, in that situation, this having the highest HP buff makes sense, because to get damage out of this, you don't really need attack, you need HP. So makes sense that it has that, and so I'm not mad about this not having too much attack in there. Basically, we apply an effect called Blazing Nova, which is a burn, and this burn does a ton of damage. It's actually kind of nice to look at. Maybe we can do that. Okay, I have a very small example here from Starland Arena. I actually have that on my DGN, and we will see a DGN attack this DTV and Ignis. And what you have to see is like we have the initial damage number, and then with a slight delay, there is another one, and that is actually our burn effect. Oh, now we actually missed it, I think. There it was. Did you see that? 3.2 billion. There it was again. Let's rewatch this fight actually, because I had to turn the speed down. And so we have the first effect. We have the hit here. We have all of the first damage numbers popping up, and then bam, slightly later, there is another one. And this burn, that is can actually be quite massive, I have to say. Can actually be quite massive, can be quite devastating. So it's not bad at all. We have some pretty good damage here. And of course, we one-shot an A+. 10 divine power DTV there with no issues whatsoever. And to read the skill again, of course, it's the enemy hero with the highest health that you inflict that on in this situation. We saw, of course, the DTV. Was it like an insane amount of damage? Is it like the Valkyr style damage that basically burns and hits every enemy hero into unbending will? No, not really. We have pretty good stats on this DGN, but it's not that. It's just regular damage, I would say. It feels on my DGN like the ult got an additional hit, which can be very, very nice, can be very, very good, because you have an easier time just one-shotting enemies. So it's not a bad skill by any means. And furthermore, through the other skills that we get, there's a lot of text, but we basically get additional energy regeneration. This one was actually changed. We have some of those skills that still have descriptions and points in the skill text where I look at this and say like, oh, this might change later, and here's one of those examples. This actually used to trigger, or was described as being triggered on every single time the effect is activated, and this grants 100 energy. So yeah, basically this would have meant that this hero equipped with this would have had infinite energy feed and infinite active skills. And they fixed that, and now it's every 3 times this is activated, we have 100 energy gain, which is also still pretty good. It's a pretty nice energy regeneration. In a PvP situation, it is pretty cool, because you just have maybe an additional active skill, can go active skill after active skill, and for some heroes that can be very powerful. On a DGN, like I use it, is quite interesting, because our active skill is fairly strong. And beyond that, is on a lot of heroes. It's actually quite nice. We have multiple skills that mainly play into, well, we have some block and dodge reductions, and other than that, it is a lot of burn. It's mostly burn, it's mostly pretty direct damage. Is it like the type of damage that we would say, okay, now we have a new PvE damage strat? No, not really, because we are scaling at a different proportion there. Where the point, well, basically, our burn is too low for it to be relevant PvE damage. The E plus 17, E plus 18, and maybe soon E plus 19 stuff that we do in Star Expedition, that is just not the area where this works. It is, if we compare it to the enemy HP stats, it works fairly well in PvP. So this is mostly, I think, a PvP burn. It has some synergies that we are exploring, maybe like MFG, a hero that scales out of over dot. That could be quite interesting, but right now we don't really see it as a PvE skill. If you add it to a hero like Idis and you have like all of the skills unlocked, we have all 3 skills unlocked here actually, like DGN, PDE, and then we have LFA or IF-LFA. That works as well, but I wouldn't say this is like necessarily a PvE thing. I take it with me PvE, of course, if I use DGN there. With that being said, you already saw what is on my LFA, and mostly, well, this is what you probably want to go for as well. We have our last skill, Charm, Seeking Knowledge, currently at level 7 here. This one plays around buffs. And buffs are pretty much king in this game. This skill is a bit special in that it is rather bad to have on your main damage dealer at the beginning, because we get those buffs which again are for 1 round, and those buffs are applied after the hero takes action. So in that case our LFA, for example, would attack, then the buffs would be distributed, making it impossible for him to actually gain any advantage from those skills. But we later on have some other buffs and some ways to actually get those buffs on our hero, which are fairly nice. We have the 3 Lifestar version of this, which is pretty good, and mainly I think most people are looking at this skill. At the end of the round, 1 random attribute debuff will be converted in the corresponding attribute gain. There's a 30% probability of converting into 1 additional attribute buff. So this is actually quite insane. If you have high attribute debuffs on your hero, this can actually be very, very insane, because we have like Alikita, who has a similar effect, scales quite well, and putting that on another hero, putting basically the Alikita ability on another hero in a situation where you have strong attribute debuffs is absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. This can be so much attack, it can be so much holy damage, it can be so much scaling that you wouldn't expect. It's a bit RNG heavy, but it can be quite devastating. So this is probably a skill a lot of people are looking at, but also we have self buffs here on one of the last skills. And then the beginning of the battle, at the end of each round, first 5 rounds, energy increase of an allied hero, we have damage increase, we have all of that. We have a ton of increases there, and this absolutely broken skill on, or well, broken is a bit hard to say, but absolutely insane skill there, which is on level 9, so pretty early on still, pretty achievable. On top of that, a pretty decent fixed attack stat still. So in my opinion, this is like the one you want to go for. This is the one you want to go for, and if you wonder which resource this actually is, the upgrade resource for this one is the fish. So this is the fish that you want to select. It is okay, I think, if you went for the burn. The burn is still pretty decent for PvP, but I think the most meta selection is on this one, and the tentacle one, I think many people will say, yeah, that is like something that is probably going to be bugged. I don't really see it as one thing you want to main. Like, it's so many support effects. Maining a support hero is like always a bit of a weird thing. It doesn't really clear you anything if your heroes survive very well. So you always have like the damage dealer thing. It feels more natural to me to go for damage dealer options, which can be buffs, self buffs, or like basically burn or damage in itself. So in that regard, I wouldn't really recommend the tentacle one for now. Unlocking the skill and doing what I do, though, is perfectly fine. If you have like a big account, you have like a situation where you have multiple Destiny heroes, of course you can unlock all 3. This is very beneficial actually for me, because now I can collect all materials for the fixed stats at the same time. So pretty good. So that being said, did you make any decision yet? Will you change the decision based on what I said? Or do you already have like the skills that you are happy with? What did you select? Tell me down in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And with that, I wish you a great day. We'll see us in the next one.